Right, hello everyone and welcome to this video. This video is 5 things not to do with someone with Asperger's. So just a bit of context on me. My name is Adam Gittings. I'm a 23-year-old personal trainer and I have Aspergers Syndrome. So this video is going over, I've kind of done videos in the past of tips for your friend or parents with Asperger's and stuff like that. So this is things that you shouldn't do with someone with Asperger's. I'm not saying, like I say, just disclaimer before we get into this because I know I'll get comments on this. This doesn't apply to everyone. Some people, this might apply to some people, not. It's such a broad spectrum. So just take it with a grain of salt. It might not be the case for you, but it might be the case for someone else. So now that's out of the way, let's get into a video. So these are 5 things potentially not to do with someone with Asperger's syndrome. Okay, so first thing is not to bombard them with information. So best thing here to explain this is don't give them too much information at once, because what it's going to do is going to overwhelm them, and it's just going to create chaos, and it's going to be hard for them to process everything because you've just given them so much information at a time, and they're going to have to take that all in, and it's going to be hard for them. So the best way to do it is just slow down and explain things one at a time. So for example, if you've got a list of things that you want someone to do, just go through one at a time, literally. Explain the first thing, let them do it, and then explain the next one. It just saves all that bombardment, because you've given so much things to do at once. It's going to be hard to focus on one at a time because you're going to try and do everything. So just one at a time, keep it as nice and as simple as you can. Let them do that first thing first, and then give them the next bit of information. You don't have to be with an instruction. Just like I say, it can be anything. Like for example, lockdown's just finished, so if you're going back to work, don't give them everything at once. Let them process it. Give them like one thing at a time, because if you give them so much information at once, it's going to overwhelm you. So be patient. Just a bit of information at a time. Don't give them too much information at once, and you'll be good. So tip number 2 is to not expect someone on the spectrum to be okay with change. Don't matter how big or small it is, whether how much it affects you or not. If there is a change, no matter how big or small, it could affect someone with Asperger's badly. It might affect them good, but it could affect them badly as well, especially if they don't see it coming. So just be careful with that. I'm going to use the example of work quite a bit in my examples. So for example, coming back after lockdown, if there's any changes, so like say for example, the layout of an office, or in my case of a gym, might be different, the rules might be different, just stuff like that. Even if it's like a big change like that, or it's a small change, just for example, there might be someone new coming in. You might have a new member of staff or something like that. No matter how big or how small, just be prepared that any sort of change could have a negative impact, just because you're messing the routine up a bit. So just maybe if you know someone with Asperger's, just like take them aside and explain through the change, and give them a bit of prior notice if you can. Yeah, that'll just help a bit, maybe, like, so it's not just put on them, we just don't turn up and something's changed and it just overwhelms them. So yeah, number 2 is don't expect them to just get used to change like that. It might take a bit of time. Okay, so tip number 3 is very similar to tip number 2, and this is to not mess with their routine or specialist interest. So the reason I'm saying this is because obviously sometimes the routine might need to be messed up with a bit, but don't just expect it to flow normally, because a lot of people have like set routines that they like, whether it's where they sit or the order that they do stuff in. Yeah, they'll like that order. It'll be comfy. It'll kind of like their comfort blanket. It'll allow them to, if it's something stressful, it'll allow them just to go through it, because they know that that's not going to change. That's something they can control. So it makes you feel a lot better about it. So if you just come in and kind of mess with that, it can have a bad impact. Even if, I'm not saying you mean it, but just be aware, just be careful if something is changing like that. As you can see, a common theme here is change. It's a big one, especially for me. But yeah, if you just go in and change someone's routine, it is going to mess with their head. It could cause a meltdown. It could cause a breakdown. It could really mess with the rest of the day. So yeah, just be careful if you are going to change something in the routine. Just make sure that they know in advance. Don't just do it off the blue, or it could cause a lot of hassle. But yeah, just understand that it's their set routine, it's their comfort blanket. they can control it. So don't change it unless you have to. Okay, so number 4, and this is quite a big one, is to try not to get frustrated if they make basic mistakes. So things that might seem simple for some people might not be simple for someone on the spectrum. And just, it kind of goes in reverse as well. Something that might seem complicated to someone who's not on the spectrum might be simple for someone on the spectrum. But you get what I'm saying. So if someone makes a mistake that might seem like a basic mistake to you, don't get frustrated. It's just one of them things. It's how people with Asperger's process stuff. They might not process stuff the same as someone who's not on the spectrum. So try not to get too stressed with him. Like I say, this can include like fallouts with friends and stuff like that as well. Someone might say something that they think's okay that someone might take the wrong way, so they might get frustrated, even though they've not meant to upset them. And I know for me, like if I upset someone, it really, really gets on my head. Like I feel really bad because I've never upset anyone intentionally. So just bear that in mind. It's like if they make a mistake, misunderstanding something, don't get frustrated because it was probably just them trying to process it, and they might have a bit of difficulty doing that. So just keep nice and calm with them. Just if they are getting frustrated and not understanding it, just explain it. Maybe break it down a bit. Try and explain it a bit slower instead of getting frustrated with them, because that's just going to make the whole situation a lot worse. And tip number 5, which is a big one, is don't treat them any differently to how you would treat anyone, basically. Just because, like I say, they've got a diagnosis doesn't mean they're any different. Should be treated exactly the same. I'm not saying, like, obviously will need help with certain stuff, but don't think just because we've got Asperger's we should be like, not spoken to or anything like that, or we're not good enough for certain stuff. That is absolutely not the case. In fact, sometimes we can be better at certain stuff. So yeah, just treat us like a normal human being, because quite frankly, that is what we are. Excuse me. So yeah, tip number 5 is just treat us like you would treat anybody else. And that is the end of this video. So thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Share this video with anyone who you think this might help. And leave a comment if you've got any thoughts. I say good or bad, just let me know. And drop them in the comments below. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video.